Today I have something very exciting to share with you. So in 2019 we identified two massive problems that we're facing. First, we have a crisis of trust in media and institutions. Second, we have extreme polarization in social media and in society. But the thing is, these are not two separate problems. They stem from the same cause. They are a direct product of the ratings and attention economy. We can summarize the problem as follows. As more and more people started using social media, competition for ratings and people's attention became more and more intense. Since the only thing that matters in this economy is ratings, not facts, the media, as well as social media users, realize that to get more attention and make more money, they need to be more extreme, more controversial, and more polarizing, since these are the sure ways to drive ratings. And since the business model of all social media platforms is to generate ad revenue from this attention economy, they have no incentive to do anything about it. So the result is that people cannot trust the media that constantly feeds them with misinformation and controversy, and constantly tells them how everyone on the other side is evil and corrupt, which further undermines trust in institutions. At the same time, social media is becoming more and more polarized and extreme. Obviously, we have to fix the problem with the current ratings and attention economy, but how? What we can do is create an alternative economic paradigm that incentivizes people to create high-quality, trustworthy content. That is the idea behind the New Internet project. The New Internet creates a true marketplace of ideas, where anyone can make money based on the importance and credibility of their content, or by accurately rating the digital content of others. The more accurately you rate the credibility of digital content, the more money you make. So in 2019, I introduced this new economic paradigm, and I spent 2020 coding it. So now I want to show you what a proof of concept version 0.01 of this project looks like. Now, is this the best solution to the problem we face? It may or may not be. This is still work in progress, and there's still a lot of work to be done for it to be successful. But that's why I'm sharing it, and that's why I'm releasing the code as open source. We need input on this project to improve it, and we need people to join the team and make it into a real tool for people to use. So what you're about to see is a live demo of the New Internet tool, and all the numbers and values that you see on the screen will come from the New Internet database and are actually user generated. But just to clarify, these are dummy numbers. They're only meant to represent how the system works as a proof of concept. They're not real evaluation of the article. So let's dive into it. So let's say that I'm trying to find out if eggs are good for me. So I'm searching. So I get a bunch of results from Google search, but do I know if these results are credible or not? All I know is that the Google algorithm decided that these results will help Google make the most money. Now let's take a look at what happens with the New Internet tool. So as you're about to see, some of these articles can have two numbers associated with them, a credibility score and a performance score, which is basically the importance of this article. The credibility score goes from 10, which is highest credibility, to -10, which is lowest credibility. And it's also color-coded from green through yellow to red. Now, as you can see, the Google results don't really match the importance and credibility of the articles. Some that have higher credibility are actually at the bottom, and some that have lower credibility are at the top. But we can fix it through our search tool. So as you can see here, all the results are actually ranked as a combination of the importance and credibility. So this multiplied by that. And they're ranked from the highest credibility and importance to the lowest. Now, what happens if we click on some of the results? Now you'll be able to see the full capability of our new toolbar. So if I click on it, you can see that now all the sentences in the article are highlighted, and the color goes from green through yellow through red, which shows the credibility, which is from 10 to -10. And you also see that there's a difference in the contrast, in how dark the color is. So if it's very light, that means that the relative importance of the sentence is low. So in this case, you can see it's 0.9. So it goes from 0.1 to 10, with 0.1 being the lowest importance and 10 being the highest. So here you can see it's 0.9. This one is darker, 5.4. This one is 7.6, and so on. So it depends on how important the sentence is to the overall point the article is making. And the difference in color, again, from dark green to dark red. And that tells you basically how credible each of the sentences are. Another point is, if you click on the post, you can see the overall credibility and importance of the post, and you can see the author's related, so the post related credibility and score, and also the overall score, basically all the posts and all the replies that that author made. That's the overall score. So these are just related to this article. So other articles in science, for example, which is this category. And if you click on text, you actually see a further breakdown for the author. In this case, you can see it's the American Heart Association News, which is, you can see it here. So let me move it to another side. And that's a track record of this author on previous articles that he wrote. Also, if you hover over the sentences, you see that there is a menu available for you, which shows you, again, the credibility and the importance scores for this sentence. And also you see comments, and then you can comment on the sentence. And these scores are user generated. So basically, if you look at the comments, that's where you get the score. And this is the score for this particular sentence. And this is based on the review that, at this moment, this user provided. So here you can see the credibility and performance of this user for this article. So basically, when you see a bunch of users, the ones that have higher credibility, their comments would be more important and more decisive in determining these numbers here. And then you can see the comment itself and also the sources that the user provides to back up the claim. And then you can see other comments, people who reply to this user, and you can also reply and have your own comment. Over here, you also see the word factual, and that's basically the tone of the sentence. So according to this user, this is a factual claim. Sometimes it's important to note what's the tone of the sentence. So if the sentence is sarcastic or a joke, you wouldn't rate it the same way if it was a statement of fact. So it's important to note what it is. So you have the sentence and you have the comment for it, and then you can see replies. So this is actually from the same user, and he just added more information. And then you can add your own replies. And then you can add a response to this comment. You can add sources, and you can rate it. And you can rate it from -10 to 10. And this is obviously color coded. And then you can also rate your own response. And this is basically how certain you are of your claim. And sometimes you don't want to, sound too certain, because if you're very certain of your claim, it's one thing. But if you're not sure and you still claim that you know what you're talking about, if someone gives you a negative score, it affects you more. So basically, if you're wrong and someone points that out, then your score is going to be reduced by a greater amount, as opposed to if you said that you're really not sure of this, but you want to put it out there. So this briefly shows you how you can interact with the different sentences in the article, and you can also look at the overall categories, which would expand on what are the categories this article is in. So this one is in science, but if you have more reviews, you can have obviously a lot more subcategories. Maybe it's not just science, maybe it's nutrition science, and so on. If you go to influences, this basically shows what sources the article is based on or what sources influence the article. Right now it only shows self-referencing, so it's not showing any other sources for the article, but obviously, and this is basically user generated. So the more reviews you have, people point out where this article draws inspiration, or what exactly it's referencing, and that would affect the score that the user would get. Because basically, if let's say 20% is from another source, then that source should get some of the credit, and then the user would only get the other 80% from the total score that's generated from the credibility and the performance of this article. Now let's do a quick demo to see what happens if you want to review a new article, an article that was not reviewed yet, basically. So when I open the toolbar, you see that nothing is highlighted, but if I go to post and then I click on review, text, and then I do highlight text, and then the selection tool allows me to select exactly the sentences that I want to include in the review. So I can do it throughout the article, but I'll just do it for part of it, and then you'll see how it works. So I selected some sentences, not all of them. Let's say that this is advertising or something like that. So I won't select it. So let's say I'll just select part of the article. And then you can also see that the tool itself, when you just click on parts of a paragraph, it selects the rest of it, as you can see here. And you can, maybe you want to select it, maybe you don't. So you can cancel that. And then I click on highlight again, and that actually is going to send it to the database. So now you have a new toolbar here, and this allows me to review the sentence. So let's say I look at this and I can start reviewing it, and this is all done live, of course. So this tells, here you're reviewing the importance of the sentence compared to the rest of the article. And you're going to see here, if it's X'd out, that means that, your review is not complete. So then you can expand this. You can set the tone of the sentence. You can say this is factual, let's say, then set a comment. Sources, you can add sources up to 4 at this time or less. The sources are not required, but the comment is. So, as long as you put something, you're going to be fine, but this is correct, let's say. And then you say, and then you provide your sources. Done. So here you reviewed your first sentence, but there's of course a lot more. So you have the name of the author, and you put it in the author category. And then if there's more authors, so let's say, you can select either from existing or add a new one. And then you can do the same thing. You can state what category this is in. So you can say, you have a drop-down menu of the categories, and then you select the relative importance of this article in this category, and then you have to justify why you think this is not very important in the category or very important or whatever it is. And unless you have all these the fields in red filled out, you won't be able to submit this article, submit your review. And the same thing for influences. Right now there's nothing, and of course if there's only one here, then it's 100%. You have to justify it, and then if you add another influence, then this is all adjusted to go to 100%. And then finally comment, which is, so you have the article and you can review every sentence, but the final score, it's also important to put the article in context. Sometimes the context actually matters more than the content of the article, so that's the information that you're putting here, and you have to put the percent, like how important is the context compared to the actual content, and also how would you rate the context. Maybe there's some kind of negative reason for this article to be published, so maybe everything is correct in the actual text, but the reason is very misleading for this article to be published. And again, you can provide additional sources for this. So at the moment, I'm not gonna actually send this comment. I'm gonna cancel it out, and then my review is basically canceled, but I can continue it at another time. So this has been a brief demonstration of the review process, and there's many other features of this new toolbar, from posting to reviewing to making proposals, which is basically for any projects that you want other people to invest in, and then you tell them how much influence you're willing to give them from the resulting article. And then collaboration, if you want to write a book or an article with other people, that if you want them to contribute. And then this is kind of your main dashboard, which shows you your related post score. And since this post was not even reviewed, so there's no categories, so it has 0. And then your overall score, which is your credibility and performance. And then your wallet is going to show these numbers, the overall numbers combined, which is what you get, and then the conversion from the web coins to actual money, and then your dashboard. And again, you can see here post related, but if you look at it here, you can see that the post related is actual numbers because there's an actual category here. This is still very much a work in progress, and there's a lot of coding to be done, but I think this can be a very powerful tool for transforming digital content and a foundation to a new digital economy. So if you know how to code and you'd like to join this project, I'll soon be publishing the open source code on GitHub and posting a link below this video. You can comment and leave your feedback for now, so we can improve the tool, and please subscribe to the channel for future updates on the new internet project. Thank you.